Okay, so this week was an Enduro race. This was my first Enduro race, and from what I understand, it wasn't really an Enduro. It was a qualifier, and the story that I heard was that it was a qualifier for the International 6 Days Trials back in the day. So I don't think I qualified for that, but it was fun. We went up there and we camped on Saturday night. It was a gorgeous night. It did rain, which made it perfect for race day. Race day comes around, and I signed up on Saturday. People pre-enter this race weeks, months maybe in advance to get, up on the higher rows. So by the time I entered, there was like 50 rows, 60 rows. So I go and I sign up, but they put me on row 4. I didn't belong on row 4, but this was the first race I signed up as a novice, so they had to fill up the rows with, expert, novice, beginner, etc. So they put me on row 4, which I didn't want to be on. We lined up for the start, but I got a terrible start. The bike did start right away, and then when it did start, because I had brand new tires and because it had rained, there was a lot of grip. So, you'll see my really bad, embarrassing start that Quinn got on video. And then my really pitiful jump on the first jump. But because I was on row 4, I was with some really fast guys. And Mike was telling me the guy on my row, whose name I forget, and will be animating onto the screen right here, was really fast. And I was able to keep up. I was able to keep him in sight for the first 15 or 20 minutes. I was just doing everything I possibly could as a human being to keep up with these guys, and they were probably play riding. But I kept up with them, and next thing you know, we all are back at camp, only after about 20, 30 minutes. And someone had taken a wrong turn somewhere, and I was following these guys, and I started to notice that the ribbons were blue and they weren't pink. And as Mike pointed out, and incidentally I'm getting really tired of Mike being right about everything all the time. If I had read the rider's instructions, I would have known that blue ribbon means loop 2. So it's my fault for not having read the rider's instructions, and it's my fault for simply following other riders, not for thinking on my own. But to be fair, there was a VCMC guy out on the course waving us up onto loop 2. But we turned around and went back, and there's, a group of 20 or 30 riders out there lost, don't know where they're going. One VCMC guy is telling us to go one way, one VCMC guy is telling us to go the other way. Long story longer, we're out there for an hour and a half, and no one knows where we're going. So finally we go back, and they're doing restarts. I fuel back up. I've been out there for an hour and a half already, probably 40 or 50 miles of riding around. And I restart on row 73, I think. And I got a much better start, as you'll see. Quinn got a video of my much better start, which I probably should have shown you anyways, and then said I had a really great start. But I did the proper loop 1, and keeping up with the faster riders on loop 1, there's a lot of steep uphills, and of course you go steep uphill, and then there's going to be a steep downhill, and then immediately a quick turn off a cliff. So I had a lot of moments where it was very scary, because I was trying to keep up with faster riders, and you go around a cliff, and I'm thinking to myself, why aren't there 10 bikes down there? There's no way everybody makes this turn. So this race, I just gotten fresh tires put on by JD over in Santa Clarita, and he's awesome. For anybody that lives in the LA area, definitely go check out JD's Motorsports or JD Motorcycles or whatever it's called. It's on Santa Clarita. It's in Santa Clarita. It's on Soledad Canyon, I think. You can definitely Google it, but his prices are really good, and he hooks me up with this tire combination that he uses because he's a desert racer, and the grip is unbelievable. And first of all, because it's the KTM, but second of all, just because of these tires were fresh, and because it had rained. There was actually one point where I was coming down a downhill, and I was going way too fast. I could tell I was going too fast, so it was either slam on the brakes and try not to go off the cliff, or just make the turn as hard as I possibly can and hope it sticks. So I moved as far forward on the bike as I could, and I remember putting all my weight on my left foot. So much so that I had lifted myself off the bike and my right foot was dragging on the ground, and the only thing that was touching the bike were my two hands and my left foot, and it was almost dragging the bars because I had so much weight up on the left peg and I was pushing it so hard, and then it just railed around this corner. So it's getting to a point now where riding the KTM I feel very comfortable turning it really hard off-road. The whole of Gorman, a lot of it is just these huge banked but very tight turns. So I mean, they're almost vertical on the side. So if you're going 35, 40 miles an hour up these things all day long, you're kind of just corkscrewing, and then you'll come down, and it's really tricky because you come around a corner and it'll be off camber and really tight and off a cliff. And I mean, I didn't see any incidents. The Enduro format, I didn't really, I mean, it probably because I didn't understand it, I didn't enjoy it very much. Because there's essentially a section that you only have to maintain an average of 18 miles an hour. And then you get to a section where you go as fast as you can. And then the next section is like play riding. You only have to maintain 18 miles an hour, and then you get to the next section, you go as fast as you can. But you're not supposed to go through the checkpoint until it's your time. So I can remember one of the checkpoints I got to, I was like 20 minutes early. And by that time, with all the restart and everything else, I was really not in the mood to be hanging around for half an hour. So I would go through, and I know I got points taken off, so I kind of just wanted to go and ride and be crazy. So maybe the next time I'll actually try to have more patience. But it certainly was much easier than the standard desert race because you actually got to just relax. It wasn't, 10 tenths the whole time. So I finished the first loop, which was really fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I noticed I was spending a lot more time in the air. I guess that means my pace is definitely picking up because it seems like a couple times a minute I was spending a second or so in the air. And the KTM's lighter, but I mean, I would think that means I'm improving as a rider. My pace is picking up. But yeah, I'm getting very confident and comfortable on the KTM. And even with the fork seals blown, the bike is still just an astonishing piece of machinery. The engine makes a lot of power, it gets a lot of grip, and is unbelievably confidence-inspiring. I got the results today. I had a very poor showing of 17th in class out of 25, I think. But I only got scored for 3 checkpoints out of 6 or something. But my times were good. I was consistently about a minute slower than Mike on all the stages. So on one of the stages, I think I was at just about 8 minutes, and Mike was 7 minutes. My times were good, but I just didn't do enough of them. In fact, in the breakdown of my class, I was at my speeds were averaging around 6th or 7th in class. So proud of that. I actually feel like, especially in the last stage, the last special, I felt like I rode better than I have ever ridden before. More confident, more quickly, more smooth, and I mean, that's not going to show in the results, obviously, but I'm definitely proud of how I did on Sunday. And I did sign up as a novice, so from here on out I'll be doing 2 loops. And I think I'm ready, because I rode for over 4 hours on Sunday. So I think a normal desert race is probably about 4 hours. So, I mean, of course I haven't had a hard one yet, so it will be interesting to see once I get back to the normal hare and hound, hare scramble format, how I will actually do in a proper desert race as a novice. But I think I'm due to moving up a row. So yeah, so stay tuned. I'm not sure when the next one's gonna be. Maybe next month, but we'll see what's going on with the scheduling. Please stay tuned, all 9 of you.